everybody, my name is Jim Stefanko and welcome to Season 3, Episode 1 of the Wolves Fan Review. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, following along with the Facebook and YouTube page over the off-season. I don't know about you, but I am stupid excited that the season is finally underway. And last weekend, the boys opened up their season on a 3-game road trip down south against Niagara, Erie, and Mississauga. Let's dive right back into it. Last week, Friday, the Sudbury Wolves were in St. Catharines to take on the Niagara IceDogs. Wolves fans get their first look at Christian Purbu in net, a goaltender that we picked up a couple weeks ago for the North Bay Battalion. Minute and a half into the first period, Quinton Byfield, though, gets a penalty. And since OHL Live is an absolute joke of a streaming service, the video and commentary feed both cut out, and this is all we could see. But good thing we could still hear the in-arena volume, because moments later, the sound of fans cheering and the Niagara goal horn going off could be heard. Niagara scores on a power play, they're up 1-0. But a few minutes later, after a turnover in the Sudbury end, Owen Robinson takes a pass up the left wing, dishes it over to a streaking Quinton Byfield. He bangs it in, 1-1. Oh, it's been a while since I've done a video. My voice is going to be wrecked. That's short-lived as Sorensits takes a penalty. And off a weird little scramble in front of the net, somehow the puck gets by Christian Purbu, and it is 2-1 Niagara.
12 seconds later.
Actually, it was only 9 seconds later. Off the face-off at center ice, Niagara gets the draw. Their player beats both Sudbury Wolves along the right side. Rips one on net. That one beats Purbu on the far side. 3-1 Niagara. Not the start that Christian Purbu or the Sudbury Wolves were looking for in this one. Purbu gets yanked, allowing 3 goals on 6 shots, and Mitchell Weeks takes over. He makes a few great saves off the start, and at about the 13-minute mark, a penalty on either team makes it a 4-on-4 situation. With the puck on the stick of Byfield, who's flying around the ice, he spotted Jack Thompson, who snuck in down low, dishes it over, Thompson bangs it in. Wolves are only down by 1. The remainder of that period, the Wolves seem pretty dominant and finish off that period at the score of 3-2 Niagara. Nothing happened in the second period. Let's move on to the third. 8 minutes into the period, the IceDogs start a breakout off a save by their goaltender. Isaac Phillips takes a bit of a risk and tries to make the pinch at the blue line, which was unsuccessful, and the IceDogs come down 3-on-1. IceDogs make no mistake. They go tic-tac-toe. It's now 4-2 Niagara. 1 minute later, Niagara IceDogs have possession. They come down the left wing, take a shot in on Mitchell Weeks. Somehow it squeaks through. 5-2 Niagara. Now with only 5 minutes left in the game, Byfield has the puck in the offensive corner. He puts it back to Murray along the boards on the wing. Murray puts it back to Sorensits at the point. He takes a shot on goal. Byfield deflects it in front and it gets past the goalie. 5-3. And eventually the IceDogs bury an empty netter, 6-3 final. Now, we're going to talk about some good things about the game. Obviously, we can point to the play of Quinton Byfield. He looks bigger, faster, and better. He finished this game with 3 points, 2 goals, and an assist. And was definitely a noticeable force every time he was on the ice. This is going to be a big year for the kid. Also, Mitchell Weeks played fantastic, making some big saves at critical times. He stopped 28 of the 30 shots that he faced in the game and looked very solid. It was nice to see that despite early blunders in the game and just looking at the scoreboard looking like a blowout win, they ended up out-shooting the Niagara IceDogs 44-38, which is promising. And it just felt like most of the game was played in the Niagara end. I don't think the score is an accurate representation of how well the Wolves actually played this game, but nonetheless, the Wolves fall their first game of the season to the Niagara IceDogs by a final score of 6-3. Let's move on, shall we? So the next night, the Sudbury Wolves were in Erie to take on the Erie Otters. Oh, I'm sorry, could you not hear me? I said, since OHL Live sucks, we had to sit through the whole game with no volume. So obviously in this game, the Wolves go back to Mitchell Weeks between the pipes to start. Good pace to the game to start, going back and forth for the first little bit. The 6-minute mark, the Erie Otters start to break out. The puck gets a little bit lost between the feet of Leafs prospect and Sudbury Wolves newcomer Callie Loppinen. That leaves the Otters on a wide open breakaway. They buried it past Weeks, 1-0 Erie. But with about 5.5 minutes left in the first period, Quinton Byfield strips the defenseman of the puck, walks in in and lets a quick wrister go past the goalie. We're all tied up at 1. And that's how we finished the first period. And with a pretty quiet second period starting to wind down, Chase Stillman has the puck beside the Erie net. He finds Quinton Byfield wide open in the slot. He makes no mistake, and the Wolves have their first lead of the year. They are up 2-1. About a minute into the third period, some tiny little human on Erie starts talking some smack to Nolan Hutchison, who then proceeds to beat the absolute snot out of this kid. Here, have a look. With about 8 minutes into the third period, Erie takes possession of the puck in the Sudbury zone. They let go a shot from the top of the circle. Mitchell Weeks is screened on the play, and it just gets right by him. Back to square one. We're tied up at 2. Then, with 7 minutes left in the third period, Sudbury Wolves give up a 2-on-1. Erie pots it. They're up 3-2. 40 seconds later, there's a scramble in front of the Sudbury net. A shot gets in on Weeks. The rebound comes out front. Erie makes no mistake. They bang it in. 4-2. No! Stillman pulls Weeks with 3.5 minutes left in the third period, and immediately Erie dumps the puck into our net. 5-2. That's a second loss in as many nights for the Sudbury Wolves. They're going to take a break on Saturday, and let's get to the Mississauga game on Sunday. Sunday afternoon, the Wolves were in Mississauga to wrap up their 3-game road trip and take on the Mississauga Steelheads. But since OHL Live sucks, there was no volume again except for commercials, and there was no scoreboard! What am I paying for? Stress was not included in my list of options when picking a package! Christian Purbu was back in the net for a little redemption in this one. About 3 minutes into the game, Carolina Hurricanes draft pick Blake Murray has the puck deep in the Mississauga corner, and he gets absolutely crushed. But not before dishing it to Shane Belitka out front, who buries it in 1-0 early. At some point later in the period, the same thing happened in the Sudbury end. Mississauga player gets hit along the boards in the corner, but passes it out front for a one-timer goal. We're tied up at 1. Soon after that, Christian Purbu scrambles to make a save off a point shot without a blocker like a boss. First period ends tied at 1. In the second period, the Wolves are on a 5-on-3 advantage. Shane Belitka goes cross-crease to Blake Murray, who bangs one into the open net for his first goal of the year. Wolves are up 2-1 after 2 periods. Slow in the fast lane. In the third period, Blake Murray's back at it 2-on-1 with Quinton Byfield. QB 55 takes the saucer pass from Murray and bangs it in. We're up 3-1. The third period winds down, and the Wolves take their first win of the 2019-2020 season against the Mississauga Steelheads, 3-1. There was a couple big takeaways for me during this road trip. First and foremost is the fact that Quinton Byfield is an absolute beast on the ice. He has obviously gotten bigger and stronger, and he put up 6 points in 3 games. 5 of them goals over this road trip. It was also nice to see some of the new rookies step into their new roles. Chase Stillman has some great size and hands and looks like he's going to be a great player for the Wolves. Landon McCallum was down in the dirty areas getting gritty, and it was nice to see an experienced OHL defenseman like Karan step in and provide some further stability on our blue line. And last, I actually think our goaltending is in pretty good hands this year. Obviously, these 2 kids have some big shoes to fill with Luukkonen leaving, but Christian Purbu is trending in the right direction. He had a great bounce-back game in the game against Mississauga, but I definitely think Mitchell Weeks is going to shine through as our future starting goaltender. Mitchell Weeks finished second in the OJHL last year in both goals against average and save percentage. I think he finished with something like a 1.47 goals against average, which is just ridiculous for a junior goaltender, and something in the ballpark of a 935 save percentage. We're going to have to wait and see how well that translates into an OHL career, but I think we'll be okay. Going forward, I'm hoping to do a road trip wrap-up every time the Wolves go on a road trip, and then one video after the day after each home game. But those of you who've been watching for a while all know how consistent I am with dropping videos, so we'll see how that goes. And now, finally tonight, the Wolves are back home for their home opener against the ugliest team in the OHL, by far the North Bay Battalion. You can get your tickets online at SudburyWolves.com or go down to the box office before 4:30 p.m. or you can just pick them up at the game when you get to the arena. So thank you all for tuning into the first episode of this season 3 of Wolves Fan Review. If you enjoyed watching, please give the page a like and share the videos whenever they come out. Or if YouTube's more your thing, go to youtube.com/WolvesFanReview and subscribe. My name is Jim Stefanko and this has been the Wolves Fan Review.